Hello, everyone. Welcome to learning more about Michigan Urology. I'm Kate Kraft. I'm the Urology Residency Program Director here at the University of Michigan, and I'm really excited to share with you a little bit more about our fantastic Urology Residency Program. So we take our mission and training very seriously. Our mission is to train clinically well-rounded urologists who are uniquely poised and motivated to become the next generation of innovators and leaders in the field of urology. And we interpret the term leader as anyone who makes a great contribution to urology. You don't necessarily have to be a department chair or CEO of a medical system. We want to train any and all who want to make great contributions for bettering the urologic care of our patients and freeing our patients from urologic disease forever. We adhere strongly to our tripartite mission: strengthen clinical care, excellence in research to further the field, and of course, we greatly value educating the next generation of leaders and best in urology. We currently have a complement of 22 residents. We have 5 in the PGY 1-year class. Brandy Brandt matched into our 6-year surgeon scientist track. And the remainder of our current clinical residents are all in a 5-year program with 4 residents in each of the other remaining residency classes. We are very fortunate to have received the inaugural Physician Scientist Residency Training Award from the AUA and the Urology Care Foundation. And the AUA chose Joel Behrens as the recipient of this training award. Joel will be spending a total of 8 years in our residency training program. He is currently engaged in 3 years of research. And so that's why you don't see him on our roster of clinical residents, but he rounds us out at 22 residents currently. So we are absolutely thrilled to be the institution that is the inaugural recipient of this fantastic award, and that Joel chose us as his training program out of a number of very highly ranked, excellent training programs. So this is just the tip of the iceberg in terms of the leadership team that is involved in our residency education. Dr. Palapatu is our chair and has been in that role for the last 2.5 years. Dr. Hollenbeck is our vice chair. Dr. Hafez is our associate chair for education and was previously in my role as program director. I've been in program director now for 3.5 years, and my right-hand man is Sapan Ambani, who's our associate program director. And Paolo Barbolio Romo is our senior student clerkship director. But as I mentioned, this is really just the tip of the iceberg. We have more than 55 clinical faculty. We have several committees that are committed to ensuring our residency education is excellent. We also have 3 clinical fellowships in endourology, urologic oncology, and female pelvic medicine and reconstructive surgery, or FPMRS. And I would say that our fellowships definitely augment our residents' training experience. They greatly enjoy working with our clinical fellows, and it ends up being a true win-win for all in terms of progression and training and learning how to become a great educator. We have a very robust faculty mentorship program. As soon as our interns hit the door, they are paired with a faculty mentor who helps shepherd them through their professional and personal progress all throughout their training. And as you can imagine, with 55 faculty, naturally organic mentorship will arise as well outside of the formal mentorship program. So our residents are very blessed to have many who want to ensure their success, both in their clinical development, their research, and of course in their personal growth as well. Our residents currently rotate at 5 clinical sites, including the University Hospital, where they spend the bulk of their training, the Ann Arbor VA right down the street, where they serve our veterans, C.S. Mott Children's Hospital, where I practice as a pediatric urologist, St. Joseph Mercy Hospital here in Ann Arbor, which is a community hospital. We are very fortunate to have several local community urologists who serve as educators at that site. And then our faculty also will spend some of their clinical time at St. Joseph Mercy Hospital in a town called Chelsea, just a few miles west of Ann Arbor, which is a recent clinical site that our chief residents are now rotating at as well. In terms of the structure of our rotations, our interns spend a total of 7 months on general surgery and 5 months on urology. They're fortunate to have a number of what we call float months, where they can actually spend some time just getting their feet wet with regard to urologic procedures and second scrub big cases. In the second year, our residents spend time taking care of our urology patients on the inpatient floor as the urology intern. They see urology consults in the university hospital. And we also, over the past recent years, have created a rotation, a 1-month rotation each for open skills as well as ambulatory surgery. And these are intended to be experiences in which our residents are able, again, to get their feet wet with these skills in these domains. Our second year residents also spend several months at the VA as well as part of the team there. In the third year, our residents spend time on the andrology and urologic health, or sometimes called the andrology and general and community urology rotation. And this is a rotation in which they focus on infertility, andrology, and general urology overall. They also spend a month on MIS, or the minimally invasive surgery rotation, to get acquainted with the basics of minimally invasive surgery and learn how to master the robotic console. They also spend a couple of months on night float, as well as on pediatrics, and then return to the VA. Our fourth year residents spend time on the laparoscopic and endourology rotation, and this is where they spend a few months really mastering complex management of kidney stone disease, PCNLs, both supine and prone approaches, as well as complex robotic surgeries in patients with benign urologic disease. They return to night float for about a month. They then rotate on the neurourology and pelvic reconstruction rotation, as well as have the opportunity for a float month in which they can choose any service on which they want to rotate. And that can include interventional radiology, transplant, plastic surgery. So we're very fortunate to have a great relationship with many different services here in the hospital system, which allows our residents to get a taste of these different fields. They return to the pediatric service for another 3 months, so a total of 6 months on peds. And then they rotate at St. Joe's here in Ann Arbor. And then finally, in the chief year, they return to the neurourology and pelvic reconstruction rotation, spend the bulk of their time rotating on urologic oncology. They lead the service at the VA as the chief resident, and then also have the opportunity for 2 months at Chelsea, our other community hospital nearby. I mentioned briefly our 6-year surgeon scientist track option. We are planning to match into this track every other year. So last year in 2021, we matched Brandy Branch into this track. And there are several different opportunities to participate in research. The structure of this rotation is such that research would take place over the course of a year after the PGY 3-year, and then residents return to the PGY 4-year. There are several different opportunities to spend time in basic science research, translational science research, health services research, or in surgical education. And again, we're very fortunate that Brandy Branch matched into this track, and she will be spending a total of 6 years with us. We will not be matching in 2022. So this upcoming match cycle, the 2021-22 match cycle, we will not be matching into this track. So we have a total of 4 slots this year. As with most programs, we have a very robust didactic curriculum that consists of grand rounds, faculty lectures, resident conferences in which residents teach themselves. One of my favorite events, which is the point-counterpoint debates, in which we pick a very controversial area in urology and have our residents debate the topic with faculty mentors to help support them. We also conduct mock oral boards in 2 forms. We actually have content experts who do kind of a round robin of rapid fire questions based on a particular topic. And we also conduct a more formal mock oral board session each spring, in which our residents are given protocols that are very much similar to the ABU certifying examination. And this helps prepare them for that very unique experience later in their career. One other thing I want to mention about our didactics, which is really the brainchild of Dr. Ambani, is that it is a topic-based curriculum. So our residents are immersed in a single topic for a total of 1 to 2 months at a time, which has been extremely beneficial, and we've seen that benefit in our in-service scores and bumps in those scores over the years. We also have several different surgical skills curricula. Dr. Berkeley-Romo runs a very robust open skills curriculum as part of the open skills rotation. We also have a robotic skills curriculum that is run by Dr. Yuni Yi, and Dr. Bani helps out with that as well. We have a laparoscopic skills curriculum that we borrow from our general surgery colleagues, and this all leads to numerous hands-on training labs as well. So these are just some photos from some of our annual training lab events. This is a recent pelvic prosthetics lab led by Dr. Malive, who's one of our GRS trained specialists. We always run an endo-urology lab for our incoming interns so that they can become familiar with the basics of endoscopic equipment as they launch into their training. And then we have our robotic lab as well that was just started this past year, and we're collaborating with other institutions on robotic skill development, which is really exciting. You all may have heard of our Tour to Consult, which is the baby of Julian Wan, one of my partners in pediatric urology. Over the last, I think, 13 years now, we've been running this little friendly competition to reward our residents for their hard work in seeing consults. And as you can see, the number of consults has steadily risen over the years, whether or not that's because we have more urologic patients to take care of, whether or not our residents just are really eager to earn their bragging rights and their prizes at the end of the year. Hard to say, I'll let you be the judge. We also have an extremely robust quality improvement curriculum that's run by Dr. Miriam Hodge-Musa and Dr. Kristen Krauser, who have expertise in special training in these areas. And so this is a team-based quality improvement approach in which they learn the basics and then engage in group projects and display outcomes at the end of the year at grand rounds. We're very fortunate to have several resources to help support our residents' research, and we also are very fortunate that our residents are well represented at regional and national meetings. In terms of what we offer our residents, we do have protected time built into the 5-year track. We allocate 1 half day each week to our 3rd and 4th year residents, which is mandatory as part of their scheduling. So when they have that half day, they are excused from all clinical duties and allowed to use that time in whatever way they see fit, whether it's to meet with our analyst, to have a meeting with their mentor, to work on a manuscript. If they want to do something else during that time, that's totally fine as long as they meet their research expectations. We also have optional time built in for the 2nd years and chiefs as well. We have a really nice, robust, didactic curriculum that's run by Dr. Aruna Sarma, who is our chief of our Dow Division of Health Services Research. And she conducts basically symposia or seminars each roughly twice a year, sometimes more often depending on the material. And the residents really benefit from that in terms of learning about clinical methodology, learning about statistics, and just some of the nuts and bolts of how to conduct good research. We also have full-time statistical support for our residents, and our statistician, Stephanie Danault-Newton, offers office hours for our residents as well to meet with her and kind of just review things quickly. And so that's a really, really great benefit. She actually won our MVP award given to her by our residents at our Resident Research Day last year. As I mentioned, she conducts office hours. And a little bit about our Resident Research Day, we have an event in the spring in which we invite some visiting professors, and our residents all showcase work that they've done over the course of the year. We offer research prizes, and it's a really fun way for us all to stay connected regarding what our residents are doing in terms of their scholarship. And our program does support travel to conferences so our residents can showcase their work. These are just a few of the key players in research. Dr. Clemens, who's our Associate Chair for Research. I mentioned Dr. Sarma, who is the Chief of the Dow Division of Health Services Research and clinical epidemiologist. And of course, Stephanie Danault-Newton, who is our biostatistician and fully supports all of our residents in their analyses. We have a very rich list of opportunities for research, as I previously mentioned, with regard to the 6-year scientist track, and those are all available to our 5-year track residents as well. But I do want to put a plug in for music. I'm sure many of you have heard of the Michigan Urological Surgery Improvement Collaborative, which is essentially a statewide collaborative that the mission of which is to improve the quality of surgical care that we deliver our urologic patients. And from this, there's very, very rich data sources that provide our residents many, many opportunities to answer the clinical questions that they want to answer and conduct very rich clinical research. So much of our residents' work has come out of music, which is really exciting. We take resident wellness very seriously here, and over the recent years have developed a wellness program that's centered around several different domains that we find very important for one's well-being, and developing importance and emphasis on well-being, not just in residency, but carrying that into one's career as well. And those domains include physical health, social connection, mental health, humanitarianism, and work-life integration. And we conduct events centered around these all throughout the year. So at the end of the year, we celebrate with a spinning class or some other sort of physical fitness class. We also offer all of our residents Headspace, which is offer free, which is a fantastic app that is centered around meditation and mindfulness. And I've recently been using all of the different features. It's not simply just meditations, but so much more. Really, really helpful and useful for learning to be more mindful. And then we have had cooking classes where we get together and just stay connected, but also teach each other how to cook healthy meals. And we give back to our community in other ways outside of medicine. So this is a photo taken from an event that we had at Food Gatherers, which is a local food bank in which we package food for those in need. Our residency program also places great emphasis on the importance of diversity, equity, and inclusion, and the importance of training a workforce for the future that reflects the patients that we currently serve. And Dr. Go is our associate chair for DEI and has really been just a great force in spearheading a number of initiatives, not the least of which is the Michigan Urology Academy, which is a recruitment event that I'm sure many of you have attended to help those that are from underrepresented groups in urology to learn more about urology and to be successful in the urology application process. We also help oversee Urology, which is a student-led initiative that was started by one of our residents, Christian Black, which again is a multilateral pipeline program to help medical students here at the University of Michigan to learn more about urology and to help diversify the urologic workforce for the future. We value serving our patients beyond the borders of Ann Arbor and to have several global missions opportunities for our residents as well. As you can imagine, in the COVID era, this has been somewhat limited, but we are hopefully going to be opening up opportunities for our residents to travel with our faculty abroad, and these opportunities are expanding both in terms of geography and number, which is really exciting. These are some photos just from a recent trip that Dr. Hafez took with one of our graduates, Zach Koloff, to Belize, and then my partner and chief in pediatric urology, John Park, goes to Kenya in the spring and took Courtney Schroer, one of our partners in PEDS, as well as Ella Dorge, one of our recent graduates, on this trip. I also would like to emphasize our Matula Leadership Program. Matula, if you're not familiar with urologic history, is that little flask that the gentleman is holding. And Matula stands for the Michigan Academy for Training in Urology Leadership and Advancement. We meet quarterly and have sessions that are centered around leadership skill development. So things like managing conflict resolution, how to present one's best self. We've brought in guest speakers as well to share a little bit about their leadership journey. And these are completely optional sessions for our residents, but we have felt that it's very important that our residents learn a little bit about how to grow in the leadership space. I also want to put a plug in for SIMPLE. Some of you may have heard of this, and SIMPLE stands for, well, it used to stand for the System for Improving and Measuring Procedural Learning, but actually now the collaborative has recently changed its name to the Society for Improving Medical Professional Learning. And so as a result, it's the SIMPLE app with that new moniker. But this is an app that essentially measures autonomy, performance and case complexity, as well as offers a mechanism for delivering detailed feedback to our trainees. And we're very fortunate to be spearheading an initiative looking at this in urology. It's already been looked at in, excuse me, in other surgical fields. And we are leading a multi-center trial with now currently 15 programs and growing, launching simple in urology residency training to look at how we're preparing residents for practice. So we're not only using this as an educational tool, but we're also conducting very robust surgical education research centered around it as well, in addition to a number of other initiatives. Many times I'm asked, well, where do your graduates go after you finish residency? And this map just kind of showcases where our residents currently are over the last several years, 5-6 years. So you can see that we're all over. Michigan urology is very well represented all throughout the country and internationally as well. And we are very fortunate to have an extremely rich alumni society that just a rich network of people that are there to support you at any point in time in your career. And everywhere you turn, you'll no doubt encounter somebody who has an affiliation with Michigan Urology. Just a little bit about us in terms of kind of our national and international presence. We have consistently been ranked among the top 10 as a urology department, according to U.S. News and World Report, and our residency program is currently ranked number 6, according to the Doximity Residency Navigator. We are very fortunate to be at one of the top institutions in the country. University of Michigan just has so many resources available to everyone right at their fingertips. A little bit about Michigan. It's the number 3 public university and number 21 university in the world. It's been ranked always consistently in the top 10 according to U.S. News and World Report rankings in the medical school, on number 6 for primary care, number 16 for research. We obviously have a lot going on here on the campus. Everywhere you turn, there's something to do or a sporting event to attend. Any hobby that you have, you can easily pursue it here. A bit about Ann Arbor. It's a really great place to live. The population is relatively small, 114,000. Little point of trivia, that's about the same capacity as the Big House, which is the football stadium. So you can fit all of the town into the football stadium. It's the number 2 college town in the country, and it's consistently ranked one of the best places to live in the country as well. And it's also considered the most educated city in the US. And if you have children or are curious about the school system, it has some of the top public schools in the entire nation. If you're looking for a more metropolitan feel, Detroit is right down the street. If you're looking to travel, the airport is easily accessible, just about a 25-30 minute drive east of Ann Arbor. There's tons to do in Detroit. The Henry Ford Museum, of course, very rich automobile history here. The DIA, the Detroit Institute of Arts, is one of the best art museums I've ever been to. These are the Diego Rivera murals in the atrium. Absolutely gorgeous, definitely worth a visit when you are here in Detroit. And of course, lots of different music venues, and we've got the big 4 for professional sports. So if you're looking for a team to root for, you can definitely find one. Probably one of my favorite times of the year is summer, because the beaches here on the Great Lakes are absolutely gorgeous. This is from Holland State Park, which is one of the beaches on Lake Michigan. And this is Pictured Rocks up in Lake Superior, which is a national park, absolutely gorgeous. We are very fortunate to have a number of gorgeous state and national parks that are just really truly natural wonders. There are just so many different beautiful places here in Michigan. And if you love the outdoors, you'll definitely find opportunities to pursue your hobbies, whether it's mountain biking or fishing or hiking. There's just so many different things to do. One of my favorite places to visit in the summer is the Grand Hotel, which is a historic old hotel on Mackinac Island, which is just a real sight to behold. And as I wrap up this talk, this summary of who we are, I hope I share with you more than just kind of the nuts and bolts, but really that we are a true family here at Michigan Medicine. We take care of each other, we work hard, we play hard, and we hope that you'll strongly consider becoming part of our team. I feel very fortunate every day to get out of bed and be able to come to work at such a wonderful place and be able to work with each and every one of our residents. They're just very motivating, and I hope that you'll strongly consider becoming part of our family as well. So with that, I'll wrap up. Here's my contact information. Feel free to reach out to me directly anytime. Be happy to answer any questions that any of you may have anytime. And I look forward to hopefully meeting you one day soon. And go blue.